Good afternoon. I'm Jeremy Logan with your 4 o'clock Zoomer Radio News. Mostly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers, a low of 12 degrees. Right now it's 19 degrees Celsius in Toronto, 66 Fahrenheit. In the news, during Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to the White House today, the chairs in the Oval Office didn't even have a chance to get warm before U.S. President Donald Trump dove right into his current favorite notion, absorbing our sovereign nation, Canada.
It would be a massive tax cut, and it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person. But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, I guess I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it.
Taking questions from the media this past half hour following his meeting with Trump, Prime Minister Carney was asked what was going through his mind during the president's musings.
I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the president has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale. It never will be for sale.
The Prime Minister is set to have a virtual meeting with Canada's premiers for a debriefing on his meeting with Trump tomorrow at noon. Earlier today, Ontario's premier was certainly comfortable saying what was on his mind.
President Trump's tariffs, this guy drives me nuts. I just get wound up. He's sitting there, he drives it. Here I go off my speech.
Doug Ford did go a little off script this morning at the Toronto Congress Centre while addressing the Skills Ontario competition. First to say the U.S. president delivers so much BS when talking to reporters.
You see this guy on TV, we don't need Canada. Really? I guess you don't need our high-grade nickel that they use 57% of their nickel to build their military, their aerospace, and manufacturing. Imagine if we never gave them our high-grade nickel. Or my friend Scott Moe out in Saskatchewan, if he cut off the potash, that 87% of the farmers down in the U.S. use Saskatchewan potash, or the uranium coming from Saskatchewan as well.
Not to mention the electricity sent from Canada to the U.S., Ford pointed out. The Premier then went on to say this is no time to be political in Canada.
We have a Prime Minister down there, and he's going to be sitting down, and he's going to give it everything he can. This is a time to unite the country, not people saying, I'm leaving the country, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. United we stand, divided we fall. And we have to be united Canada together to fight President Trump's tariff.
There was a veiled shot in there against Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, who says if an application gets enough signatures, she will hold a referendum on whether Alberta should separate from Canada. In other news, the Vatican is imposing a new set of sophisticated security measures for the upcoming conclave, the process of choosing a successor to the late Pope Francis, which will officially begin tomorrow. Inez Delicatera has details.
The Sistine Chapel on lockdown, one day and counting until the conclave. Everyone at the conclave, from the cleaners and the cooks to the drivers and the elevator operators, all taking an oath of secrecy yesterday to keep the process under wraps. The punishment for breaking that oath, automatic excommunication from the church. The cardinal selecting the new pope will take their secrecy oath tomorrow and will give up their phones today, not getting them back until after the conclave ends.
Inez Delicatera reporting. There are 133 cardinals coming from 70 different countries, but all seem united in finding a pope who will be able to make the 2,000-year-old church credible and relevant today, especially to young people. Taking a look at the market numbers, the TSX up 26 points to 24,979. Dow Jones in the red 282 points to 40,937. NASDAQ off 70 4 points to 17,770, while the Canadian dollar was up fractionally to 72.6 cents U.S., and oil up $1.96 to 59.09 the barrel. Zoomer Radio weather, mostly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers, a low of 12 degrees. Tomorrow, a sun-cloud mix, still with a chance of showers, a high of 20. Right now, it's 19 degrees Celsius in Toronto, 66 Fahrenheit. I'm Jeremy Logan. News next at 5 o'clock on Zoomer Radio.
This is Zoomer Radio and non-stop fun on the Afternoon Express.